What's going on? Glad to have you back. All right, today we're going to talk a little bit about the garden. I got an indoor garden. I'll show you a little bit of that from last year, and I'll show you how it did outside, at least mid-season anyway. Tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll show you where I'm at now. All right. Okay, this is from last year's garden. This is what I'm growing in the basement. I've got indoor lights there. I got tomatoes, eggplant, broccoli, hot peppers, kale, and then this is the middle section. Those are mostly overgrown peas, some squash there, more kale. A lot of these became overgrown quickly. I didn't time them right. I did a little bit better this year. There's some squash, Brussels sprouts there, and the green beans. You can see the green beans actually have some beans growing on them already in the basement. These actually did very well once I got them outside. And this is, and about 2 weeks later, I'd say maybe 3 weeks later, this is what the garden looked at that point. Okay, and this is what the garden looked like just a couple of weeks after that. I moved some of the pots, but it's essentially all the same stuff. You can see we have our green beans to the left, squash in the middle. That's what those flowers are. Those tall grass looking things are corn. Here in the middle, you see a bunch more corn here, kale to the right, more green beans. They've actually started dying because I didn't plant them, and there's like a huge web of them together. It wasn't too impossible to get them separated. There's some peppers to the right there, and now there's more peas here. Pepper plants to the bottom. These are eggplants and tomato plants, and some kale and corn there as well. Once I got them into the garden, this is what they look like several weeks in. Those are the green beans. To the left is all the different cucumbers, tomatoes to the far left of that. I just planted in homemade compost that I made from coffee grounds I got from the local coffee store. They seem to be doing pretty well. As a whole, at the end of the season, we did really well. We had lots of tomatoes, green beans, cucumbers. We didn't have too much, but we definitely ate a lot more than we would if we hadn't done this. So it worked out very well. I'd say it was a pretty good success over the course of the year. And this is pretty much how I started. So you'll see in these seed trays, I had these all in pots, which I'll talk about in a minute, and how much more I can get into the garden this year. Okay, so here I'm just planting seeds. I got a lot of seeds to go. I think it's over 1,000. I'll get into that in a minute. So one of the things this allows me to do is last year, with the pots I was using, these, I was able to get 177 plants in, and with these, I'm able to get, well over 1,000. So I'll be able to get a lot more plants. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough space for all these, but whatever we don't use, we could sell. And I've had entire batches get killed before, so it's a good one. What it looks like a few weeks later. Beans, blueberries, beans, tomato, strawberries, strawberries, cucumbers. Those are starting to come along a little bit. Cucumbers, zucchini, not started yet. It hasn't peeked through yet. All basil. And super hot peppers, sweet peppers, red peppers. I know that's backwards, but none of them have germinated yet. Okay, this has been a few weeks, several weeks, since the last part of this video. So this is just to show you what things are looking like now. It's about a week before planting, so hopefully we'll get these in the ground by this weekend. We'll have to see. Green beans, peppers, they're coming along, but they're not doing great. They never really do. These basil definitely need a feeding. They're getting a little yellow on me. Tons more beans. You know the blueberry bushes. And on this side, we have some tomatoes growing, green beans. Tomatoes are finally starting to get their second pair of leaves. Probably a little premature for them to go in yet, but I think they'll do. I think they'll do fine. These are the eggplants that weren't coming up. They are coming up now. Strawberries really aren't doing too much better. As you can see, they're very small. Only a couple of them, so that might just be a wash. These are cucumbers, squash or zucchini, one or the other. Okay, so that is what the gardens looked like last year, and a little bit of the indoor garden from this year. Sorry, I have my groupies. They just follow me wherever I go. It's like having like 16 my buddies. Okay. Anyway, all right, so this is the current situation of the garden. I got a lot of work to do. Ow. Don't bite my toes, you little bastards. Alright, I'm going in the garden. I'm going in! Alright, so these, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. These are asparagus. They've been growing for 2 years. And they're not quite ready yet. Obviously, it takes, I think, 3 to 5 years to get going. But this is my garden. Completely overgrown. Tons of weeds. Tons of grass. I try to feed the chickens in here so that they till it up a little bit. But as you can see, they're not super effective. So I'll have to get to this week or next weekend. These are grapes that hopefully we'll use for making wine. Here, and here. So this is the second year for the grapes. And then we have some like broccoli, stuff like that. So that's garden 1. And then this is garden 2. Looks a lot better. This one has had better mulch and better compost. So it's not growing as many weeds, but there's still a pretty good amount. That's pretty much it. That's where I stand now. I figure in the next week I have to get that all peeled away. And then I can get to the planting, hopefully by Memorial Day weekend, which is next weekend. So got a lot of work to do. Should come out great.